Now we're going to do the hills back here. I messed up and I accidentally put the wrong color there. So I thought this would be a good lesson for you to learn as well. Oil pastels will not erase all the way because they're like paint in a stick, but you can use something as simple as a paper clip to try to scrape off as much of the oil pastel from your paper as you can. And you can tell it's leaving a little bit of a stain. But then, because you're lightening it and getting rid of that oily residue, you're going to be able to go over it with the correct color. Okay, for the hills, we're going to use dark blue to start off, and then we're going to be using black to create the expressive lines. Remember to come on the other side of your cypress tree and color these parts of the hills as well. Now we're going to use black to add the expressive lines. All right, the next part that we're going to be working on is this back tree line that goes along the base of the hill. And we're also going to do the bushes that are in the village area because you're going to use the same colors. I would like you to find the darkest green that you have, so not like a lime green, something darker. And then the expressive lines are going to be created with that same dark blue that you just used. Be careful this time to really work in between your Sharpie lines because we want those to show through in the final drawing. Now you're going to take your dark blue and start to create some expressive lines. And this time it'll kind of feel like you're making curved C shapes, just like when we originally drew the tree line. You're going to repeat those exact same steps for the bushes. So green first and then blue expressive lines. When it comes to your name, try your very best to color around it. Don't go over it with the oil pastels. Now go back through with the blue and add some C shapes to create some expressive lines. I went through and added some more highlights of like a light brown and then some shadows of a black for my cypress tree. I just felt like it needed a little bit more character to it. Now we're going to go through and fill in basically the rest of the land. So in between the bushes, we're going to switch to blue and color it with a dark blue. Be careful to work in between those really tiny parts. We're trying our very best not to go over the silver Sharpie. Now I want you to take the darkest yellow that you can find and start to create some expressive lines on that grassy area. Let's move on to the church. The church is going to stand out. White is the color I would like you to use, but if you're looking through your box and you can't find a white, something like pale peach or a pale yellow, or maybe even a mint, very light green or a gray would work. I happen to have white, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. I left the window black. There's one problem when we color it all in like that. Silver and white are both light colors, so you can't really see the silver Sharpie lines anymore. I would like you to take a black oil pastel or a dark brown, would work as well, and retrace all of the little shapes, trying to go in between where your Sharpie and the white oil pastel touch one another. Now you can see the details of the church a little bit more. For the rest of the houses, I'm going to give you 3 choices of colors. Any shades of brown, red, and orange. So it could be a dark coffee brown, a light brown, kind of a dark red or a lighter red, and then also shades of orange. What I'd like you to do with those colors is simply start to color in your houses. But again, make sure you go nice and slow so you don't accidentally cover up your Sharpie line. And you do want to make sure that you are leaving the windows and the doors black because they will be easier to see. And since it's starry night, most of the lights in the houses would probably be off and it would be dark windows. Now after you color it in, it still looks too plain just colored because the rest of Starry Night has all of these texture and expressive lines. So what we need to do is either outline it like we did with the church, or you can even create like some lines on the roof and on the house. They would be short and kind of close together, but it will create some texture instead of leaving it plain. You're going to continue to use combinations of these colors to fill in the rest of the houses that you have drawn. So for each of the houses, I used at least 2 different colors to color it in and then also create some textured lines. Now that I've used my red and orange and brown on the houses, I think they look good, but they stand out just a little bit too much compared to everything else. So what we're going to do is take a dark blue and do some outlining. That made it blend in just a little bit more so that it doesn't stand out so much. You're going to do that to all of your houses. Now that you're finished with your Starry Night replica, you can turn this into me. Make sure that all of your oil pastels have been picked up. Check the floor to make sure there are none there as well. Your artist assistant or myself will collect these. Take your napkin that you've been working with and really scrub your table. You may throw that in the trash can. Go to the sink and use 1 pump of soap to wash your hands. 1, 2, 3, that's enough for me. And then you may dry off your hands. And this is a finished Starry Night replica inspired by Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night painting. Good job today, artists.